Yeah, I'll show you how to get it, but you have to be willing to do the work. The Syndicate, it's a motherfucking movement.
It's a syndicate.
You ain't gotta be perfect, long as you down to put the work in. If when it comes to the bullshit you allergic, well, you just might be my kind of person. Welcome to the Syndicate, where real estate wholesaling is what the business is. Ain't gotta talk about it when you out here living it. So if you out here getting it, then welcome to the Syndicate. Well, welcome to the Syndicate. Well, welcome to the Syndicate.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're listening to another episode of the Real Estate Wholesaling Syndicate podcast. Very excited to bring the guest we have with you today. We have Ace Qureshi coming to us from out of Houston. Ace, thanks so much for joining us today, man.
Man, Ky, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Of course, man. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. And now for people who don't know you yet or may not know you yet, do you want to give us a quick introduction on who you are?
Yeah. Born and raised in Pakistan, came to Houston around 2011. Always was a fan of, sales, right? That's my dad always told me, hey, go do sales, go sell something and make money, right? That's my whole nature of me just growing up until I hit 18. Around 2018, 2019, I came across, wholesaling, came across TTP, Brent Daniels, there's Max Maxwell, all these other great guys. They were just coming up, the YouTube was just now coming up. And, I was like, you're doing real estate without a license. You're doing real estate without buying real estate. It was super new to me. Got into wholesaling. And then I met, some great guys, just want to plug them in. Carlos Plato, Junior Moreno, and Oko. And, we all just made a company and we started wholesaling. And then we scaled it to 1.2 million. And from there, we all exited. We all got our money. And then, now we're in commercial. That's just a little bit about me. I didn't go to college, just straight real estate my whole life. That's pretty much it.
I love that, man. Well, what great advice from your dad too to get into sales. I feel like that's usually, at least here, and say it's not really advice you hear. People here, it's like go to college and whatever, go work for someone else. But I feel like getting to sales, like literally the best thing I ever did, and it's like really the only place you can write your own paycheck, and it's like an invaluable life skill. So, man, what great advice.
Yeah, I always tell my dad, I'm happy I finally listened to something you just said.
Yeah.
Because growing up with the father and mom, like they tell you things that other people tell you, but when other people tell you, you're like, oh, that's some good things. But your parents are telling you that every day. So like, just one day I was like, man, let me just go sell, right? So I was selling like candy, I made my own clothing brand. I was a big sneakerhead. I was flipping cars in the marketplace. Then I got into like selling like life insurance, Kirby vacuums. Then I was, selling like Cutco knives. Then I came into like selling cars. I'm like, bro, if I could sell everything, I could just go sell real estate. So it was just like a clicking thing for me. So I just love people and sales and numbers. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, same here, man. That's great. Yeah, Kirby was my first sales job too. I'm like,
no way.
Yeah.
In San Antonio?
No, down in it was in like New Hampshire. Yeah, so it was up in New Hampshire. It was like,
hey man, I was good at selling Kirby's. Them expensive vacuum cleaners. You could do everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't stay long. Yeah, like the people didn't want to pay me, but it was like the best sales training I ever got though. And yeah, it was crazy. It helped me out tremendously, and then helped me I did car sales, and then they only hired me because they knew I worked at Kirby, and like, oh shit, you want you to work here, and then but yeah, that's crazy.
A vacuum cleaner, you can sell a car.
Yeah,
like people don't want no vacuum cleaner that's like $2,500,
Right.
So it was like, it's crazy.
That one's designed by NASA.
Hey, you could wash your car, you could take care of your baby. Like, it was crazy. Like, we used to do demos. We used to go into people's house and start cleaning their house. We're like, look, it could do this, it could do this.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes, like, you damn near clean everybody's house. It's like, nah, I don't want it. Just come back. I'm not coming back next time. You're going to clean your house.
Right. Well, I feel like that comes back from their marketing, though, too. Like, you want a free house cleaning? Like, yeah, shit, sure.
Man, I just didn't like carrying them around in a big blue box. I'm like,
yeah,
bro,
you got to put it back in there and shit. It's like a puzzle.
There's so many pieces, but man, that's good that you did Kirby. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's too funny, man. But yeah, no, I feel like they definitely. I feel like everyone I talk to, that's done Kirby is just a beast at sales. And trying to think who Rich Wonders too. He started Kirby and Innovation King. Yeah, and he said that's always funny hearing other people do Kirby because yeah, it's definitely They got a crazy sales training program.
Yeah, I thought I was the only one. That's just crazy. Like, it's good to know.
Right. Awesome, man. So what yeah, so you said so when you worked those other guys, you said so were you doing more just residential? And then how did it start? How did you get your first deal? And then kind of walk us through that.
And I got my I look young, but I started with the old heads. You know, like I started when like the wholesale industry was like still developing. Like people were still pioneering it. It was no, like the only thing that was maybe out there was like PropStream. All right.
Mm,
Now there's like millions of other databases that are out there. But like back then, like even $99 was like, I don't want to spend $99. Like I'm not really committed. So it's like what I did was pen and paper, right? Did the TTP model, just drive for dollars. I did it in San Antonio while I was selling cars. I'm like, hey, if I'm 9 to 9 on selling cars, Sunday is my only day off because we did, Monday to Saturday, Saturday's our best day. So on Sunday, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna just go work. Like, I want to keep working for myself. So I started driving in the hood in San Antonio. I used to live in Stone Oak. Then when I from Stone Oak, then we moved to the Dominions. And then like we just started like moving around. And I'm like, hey, I need to go to like where like, the like it's the hood. So like I started driving down to like downtown areas. And I'm like, okay, this is where like I need to be at. So I'm driving for dollars, did it for like 2 or 3 weeks, writing down numbers. And then I skipped traced them, started calling. Man, it was horrible. I'm stuttering. Like I never stuttered in my life. So I'm like, I'm just getting cussed out because like, and then it was like a challenge for me because I'm like, man, like San Antonio is like majority Hispanic people.
mhm.
And like the people that call in, they're like, "¿Qué paso? What's going on?" I'm like, do I speak in English? Do I speak in Spanish? Like, what do I do? Like, so like it was like a language barrier. But then I came across this one lead. It was like, a really nice gentleman. His dad just passed away. He's like, look, man, I'm just trying to sell it. We don't got money for his funeral or whatnot. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like, let's do it. I ran my comps. That's the only time I bought PropStream.
Mm,
I ran my comps. I didn't even know how to run comps. I'm like, okay, look, ARV times 7 minus repairs minus commission equal offer. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what TTP told us. Then I went to Jerry Norton. I got the script from him. I got the PSA, drafted the PSA. I was like, hey, sign this. He signed it. Then I'm going back to YouTube. I'm like, how do you find buyers? Oh, we just posted on Facebook groups. All right, I posted on a Facebook group. 2 days later, I found a buyer. And he's like, okay, send me a contract. I'm like, what contract do I send you? He's like, assignment of contract. Okay, I'm like, where do I go find assignment of contract? We didn't have ChatGPT back then. So I go back to Jerry Norton. I'm like, hey, let me get assignment of contract. We got a free contract, signed it, sent it to him. I'm like, what do I do? He's like, open, do you have title open? I'm like, title open. I'm like, now I'm calling people to go open title. And that's where I came across like Carlos and Julian. I was like, bro, can you guys help me with the title? And then they helped me with open title. And then, after that, within the span of like starting from, week 1 to like week 6, I got my first deal. I make 6K. But the funny story here is I didn't have an LLC. I didn't have nothing set up. It's just like my full name and like, it was like, here's my bank account information. The escrow agent called me. She's like, hey, we got your check ready. I was like, oh, dang, this really happened. Believe it or not, I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, if you get a call from jail, just know this is what I just did. Because I'm about to go to the title company to pick up my check. It was like really new to me because I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
did I make some money flipping paper? Because like, bro, I didn't even go see the property. I just drove by it once. I put it on Facebook. He wants to buy, he wants to sell it, make some paperwork, send it to the title company, and I got 6K. I was like, Mom, if you get a call from jail, just let me know. Bill me out. This is what's gonna happen. She's like, okay, whatever. Go pick. I picked up my check, cashed it out. And it was just like a new high that I never felt before. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, like I feel like Grant Cardone. I'm like, I'm looking at buildings while I'm driving back. I'm like, I want to move those. I want to move those. And like, it just started from there, to be honest.
I love that, man. Yeah, it's crazy when you get to get in that first one, man. You can't top it. It's yeah, man, it's so cool. It is a rush, and I feel like the rush never goes away. I mean, kind of like you get used to it, but then like you get bigger deals, and then like you hit that next milestone, and it comes back, and yeah, it's a great feeling, man.
Yeah.
But I love that, man. Yeah, I think my first one, I barely made like $1,100, and I'm like, oh, 'cause like we had no idea, like again, what we're doing, just figuring it out as we went, and then found out like at the closing day, like day before closing, they're like, oh, the seller owes back taxes, and like he's gonna have to come up with cash to close. And then I'm like, fuck, man. And then I knew he didn't like have it. And then so I ended up negotiating with the buyer. The buyer was real cool. And then, we split up, like I split half, we both paid half of the taxes out of, so I like lost most of my assignment fee, but I still got to the finish line. And same thing, I'm like, oh, cool, I got that proof of concept now, man. This shit's real and it works.
Yeah, yeah. Once you get a full deal cycle, it's life changing. Like you just need to see it through. And then man, like I was really fortunate to get to 6K because the guys like, Carlos Plaza and Julie Moreno, they're like, hey bro, just take it. They're really like grateful and like they had a lot of gratitude with them. They're like, hey, we just want to help you out. And from there, it just created a whole new partnership because every time I got a new deal, I always sent it their way. I'm like, hey, help me out. It just felt like there was like already trust there. Like, hey, you're not pocket watching me.
Mhm.
Like, I want to really help you now. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
where we're at.
No, that's a great point too, man. There's a lot of good people here in the community, like in the wholesaling community, and once you find the right people, man. So yeah, definitely building relationships and nurturing those relationships is huge because once you find the right people, man, it's hard like in any industry or anything to find the right ones. When you find the right ones, yeah, those relationships are huge.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Uh,
And now we just do commercial. We just graduated to commercial now.
yeah, I love that, man. So let's get into that. I know not many people talk about that, and it's really the main thing I want to talk about today. So what made you decide to get into commercial?
Man, so it started. It was an accident, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, so after we, in 2021, when we like let go of the company, a single family company, we were just tired. Like it felt like a day job. Like believe it or not, we were wholesaling, we were contracting 20 to 25 deals a month, right? We were closing, 8 to 10 deals a month. But it was a hassle, bro. Like I was just like in layman terms, sorry if, like one of my old buyers are watching this because like a lot of my single family buyers are some of my friends on Facebook, but it was like babysitting grown folks.
Mm,
Like literally like babysitting grown folks, like and like it's like 15 different contracts, 15 different buyers, 50 different title companies, 50 different sellers. It's like every day is like there's something new. Like we had to come in and like it was like more of like being a firefighter, like coming in
yeah, yeah.
fires every day. I'm like, bro, this is like, bro, I barely got my hair back because I
Mm,
was stressing so much, bro. Like I was real, like balding at 21. I'm like, what's going on? But then I'm like, okay, so we sold it, and now I'm like, okay, I got this big chunk of money. I'm like, this is not it. I'm looking at other people. I'm like, okay, I don't want to go buy real estate right now. It's just not something that I want to scale or learn right now. It's just like, hey, I want to focus on my, expertise and my, value in the marketplace and, create that check and increase that check. So like, I'm like, hey, commercial sounds interesting. And we go ahead. I started running PPC, SEO, but the switch here was like, I wasn't running on Google.
mm.
Everybody runs it on Google. I'm like, if I want to go after commercial, and I'm really like, that's when like I started learning about Cody Sanchez and I started learning about like buying businesses and all this good stuff. I'm like, oh, if boomers are, passing on their businesses and there's gonna be like a wealth transfer, trading hands, where are the old boomers? I'm like Yahoo, Bing, Hotmail. I started putting my money in those search engines and started running my, ads there. And I came across, a gas station lead. It was like 1,400 bucks for my PPC. Um, Contract to close was 30 days, made 131K. One buyer, one seller, one title company, and it was like a aha moment. I'm like, hey, I just wholesale a commercial deal. And the funny part is, I could get into a really long story because those 30 days was not just like I'm just contracting and closing. Those 30 days was like me, like I didn't even never bit my nails, so I was just biting my nails every day. I was like, but what's going on? There's new things I'm learning. There's a gas station that I'm moving. You got to learn about the leak line test, the BOLs, what type of erosion reports, phase one, inside sales, gaming machines. I'm like, what's going on? So like so many moving parts, but in the end of the day, we got it done because the buyer that was trying to help me out, right here was like, hey, I want to help you because like ideally because we're like the same race.
Hmm.
So, like in the end of the day, it was like he wanted to get something from me. I want to get something from him too. Like, hey, let me just help you out. So I learned to line that transaction. And from there, I was like, hey, when I made that money, it was like a switch. And when I started, it was like late 2021. We're just now coming into 2022. It was like it was like for like leaving Q4 into Q3, like the winter time, like the world was slowing down. Now we just closed on, a big property, made 131K, and I was just thinking, I was just going back to the drawing board, recollecting myself, readjusting, resetting, refocusing everything. I'm like, hey, in 2022, I want to go full for it,
Mm.
right? And then in 2022, it was it was nothing but lessons. All right. In 2022, like I thought it was gonna be the same thing, like concert to close, blah blah blah. Like, hey, we're making big checks, but man, I lost so much money. It's because I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm,
You know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to come into a space where nobody's really talking about. All right. Like everybody's talking about single family. So like I'm like like I was like in the dark. I don't know if you know a guy named Manny Cash.
mm-mm.
So Manny Cash, a great friend of mine, he's like a big, wholesaler out in San Antonio, just like yourself, Ky. And he was following along. He's like, "Hey, how's your commercial thing going?" I'm like, "Man, I'm losing money. I'm spending this much money. I'm not getting nothing." It was like dead deals, right? Like I get a contract, I know how to move it. So it was like I switched. I was like, "Bro, we gotta do something different." All right. It's like, because I'm getting RV parks, I'm getting mobile home parks, I'm getting storage facilities, multifamily, hotels, offices, vacant land. I'm like, bro, there's a common denominator in all of this. I don't know how to evaluate it. All right. So like that was a common denominator. If you don't know how to evaluate opportunity, then how are you gonna sell the opportunity to somebody else if you don't know how to evaluate if there is an opportunity? You know what I
Right.
mean? So for us, it's like what I did, I was like, look, I went to Facebook. I started joining all these commercial groups. I'm like, hey, I will give you a lead if you teach me how to underwrite. So
Mm.
I started reaching out to all these buyers. I'm like, hey, teach me how to underwrite this. I'll give you this lead for free. And I did that in 2022. Like I closed the books. I'm like, hey, my expenses are low. I'm good. I made my money. I'm just gonna focus on building the skill. We came into 2023, started running. Man, in 2023 was an amazing year. It was like 3 steps back to take 50 steps forward, right? And like I'm like, hey, we started in 2023 coming in, and I'm like, bro, we just to give you high level metrics is like we underwrote 275 deals. We sent 175 LOIs. We got 85 accepted. We took 56 in the contract, and we closed 11 deals. So we did roughly around like 17 and some change in gross acquisitions, and almost crossed a million net commissions to us to Ace
Wow.
Qureshi. And that's where we're at now.
I
In
love
20,
that, man.
yeah.
That's great, man. Yeah, there's a lot of gold nuggets and things to unpack in there, man. I love that you mentioned doing Bing ads. 'Cause, yeah, I said not many people, a lot of people sleep on it, and I saw one of my favorite marketing channels because one is less expensive, and two, like you said, the older generation's on there. And a lot of people are like, oh, nobody uses it, but a lot of people do because like when you first get a computer, like if you don't update it to Chrome, if you're on like a regular PC, like it's your native thing is they want you on Microsoft Edge, they want you on Bing. So a lot of people just don't realize that. And it's Yahoo, MSN, Bing, like it's the cost per clicks are a lot cheaper on there. There are some like issues too. I mean, I've noticed a little more click fraud. Then you got to be more careful, like with anything. If you guys haven't done marketing before, it takes a bit to learn because if you follow like all of Google's things they tell you to do, follow all the things Bing tell you to do, you're just gonna lose a shitload of money. So you gotta find out what works and what doesn't. But no, that's a great gem you gave there.
Yeah. For me, it's like, man, if you know how to do something, I'm not gonna go learn how to do it. I'm gonna just pay you how to do it. It's
Mhm.
because I want to like go fast. So like the guy that I came across, his name is like my bad for plugging everybody in this in this
No, you're
podcast, but
good.
it's just like my story. He's probably gonna watch this. His name is Paul Navarez. All right, he's like a guy from like I think Colombia. I think he's this those, but he came in here like, bro, I know how to do like PPC on Facebook. I know how to do on like Yahoo and Bing. I was like. That's where the idea came from. And he's like, hey, let's try it. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to lose. And he was doing a great job. And he's like, we got a lead. And I'm like, let's do it. Like, so to be honest, if you want to get into like the nitty gritty of like how to set it up and stuff like that, Paul is the guy.
Yeah, nice. No, I nerd out about all that stuff. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know, I like to have control over things, or at least know things well enough that I know someone's not like taking advantage of me. But yeah, my whole background is marketing too. Yes, I nerd out on all the analytics and running ads and doing all that stuff.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, but now we're in 2024, so it's amazing. Like I'm really excited to see like what's gonna happen this year. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're seeing a big slowdown or change in the single family space, but like how is that going for you, Kyle? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, it's been starting to pick up again. Yeah, it was like last year. It was definitely a lot tougher than the years before. But yeah, no, it's definitely starting to pick up again. We're seeing some more activity and stuff. But Yeah, I've been wanting to get into commercials. That's one reason I want to talk to you too, because I keep hearing it. Everyone keeps talking. You talk with like Logan Fulmer, and I had Matt Teifke and Alex Kaufman come on, and you guys are just doing these big fucking deals. I'm like, why am I not doing these big deals? So,
I'm joking. I mean, bro, it's easy. The only thing you gotta learn is the debt market and underwriting.
hmm,
That's the two things, believe it or not.
yeah,
Getting the deals, like if I'm being super honest, we're calling the same leads as brokers.
mm,
Right? Like we win contracts over like Marcus and Millichad, CBRE, Keller Williams. It's because there's a lot of joker brokers in
yeah,
commercial. Like I'm not like if you're a broker, you're a friend of mine. No, I don't want to, be, too disrespectful to anybody, but there's a lot of joker brokers right there, right? Well, if you see their OMs, it's all performing.
mm,
Like they're selling on what it could be and not what it is right now. When we come in and we're talking to these sellers, we're like, hey, you want cash, but they're gonna market on performance. We're not gonna get your cash because your price is not realistic because you let your asset die out, right? So for us, it's like when the way that my company does it and the way that my community that I'm building, does it is we present ourselves as consultants, right, Kai? So like it's like we come in and we're like, hey, we are business consultants and we want to consult your business because in the end of the day is commercial, but it's commercial real estate slash business. Right? It's making and generating money. Hey, give us your financials, give us your P&Ls, give us your tax returns, give us your booking, open your book so we can look at what to offer you. The brokers don't do that. The broker is like, hey, you're making money? Cool. What's the value add? Cool. We're just gonna write it up, make some beautiful renderings, talk about the location, and just put it out there. Hopefully somebody buys it.
right,
For us, we come in, we're like, hey, we're gonna bring you from 10 to 0 real quick. Right. And then for us, it's like we get creative. Like in Ace deals, cash offer is not our best offer. If you want to hear a cash offer, you're probably gonna feel disrespectful. But if you want to hear an offer that makes you a little bit excited that you don't understand, you could come in, do seller financing, do sub two, do a JV, do a wraparound, buy into the LLC, do a lease back, then buy you back out. There's so many ways that we get creative in commercial because in commercial, it's like a bigger asset. In commercial, the buyers, they rather buy as a partnership with the sellers than to go leverage the bank right now because money's so expensive. So
right.
the money's expensive and the deals are not making sense. The only way that is going to make sense if you get creative between the selling party and the buying party. And that's why we consult. We consult the sellers and the buyers. If you position yourself like that, but we get deals all the way, like all day. That's the biggest gem that I could drop on this call.
Yeah.
Now,
No, that's great. And it makes a lot of sense. And I feel like especially some of the businesses too, I'm sure it's like a certain size, like you find like they probably don't have their P&Ls or all their records and stuff in order. And I feel like the regular person is not gonna be able to get a loan on that, or no one's gonna be able to get a loan on that. So I mean, seller finance makes perfect sense in that scenario.
correct. Like in the end of the day, like we see multifamily, like we see all these people chasing after multifamily. Everybody that was doing multifamily is just looking at deals because deals don't make sense, right? There's two types of buyers right now in multifamily. People that want to play Superman and people that just don't want to buy.
Mm,
People that want to play Superman, they really can't play Superman because the dumb money that was buying back then, their loans are about to be due. You can't save them. There's no equity. The sellers want to get something out of it. But in the end of the day, the strategy that we're doing is like, hey, the buyers are just going to brokers, right? We're going to the lenders. Because in the end of the day, the lenders are the problem, not the seller, not the person that's occupying and trying to make some money. It's a lender. So now our strategy is we're trying to build banking relationships, lender relationships, because in the end of the day, there's roughly around 1.3 billion, if not trillion dollars worth of debt that's going to mature in the next 45 years that we're going to see. Hey, I just want a piece of that, 1%, right? So that's pretty much it. Like that's my mentality. Like
mm.
just see how big of debt there is and see, hey, can I get a 1% of that? I'm cool with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's where is our focus, right? So that's pretty much it.
I love that, man. So if somebody wants to get into commercial, they want to make the jump, or they just want whatever, they want to start learning. What are the best how did you start to learn this? I mean, I know you said that first buyer helped you, but what were some of the things you learned on those deals, and how have you like continued your education in the field?
Most definitely. So if you want to jump into commercial, don't do what everybody else is doing. All right. Like if you're gonna come into commercial, if a deal is more than $10 million, even $1 million, and you don't even know how to look at it, don't look at it. Right? If I were you, if I were anybody, think of it like this. If you come in, right, for us, we see a lot of wholesalers out there trying to come into commercial. We see a lot of people transitioning to commercial. They're just chasing and daisy chaining other people's deals. Like it's free. It's like that should be a crime,
Mm.
right? Because you're just copying a link and sending it to somebody, and he's just copying a link and sending it to somebody. And the end of the day, it's gonna come to Ace Deals, and we're gonna block you and delete you and put you on our do not call and the blacklist because we don't want to see your deals. We don't want to because you're not putting no effort in. But if you're looking to start, hey, pick one asset class. That's what I tell everybody in my community, right? One asset class and go all in for 120 days, right? In 120 days, master four things, right? This is the four pillars of acquisition that I teach everybody, right? Control, support, documentation, and submitting offers, right? I could break it down for you, Kai. Control, guys, right? I always tell my guys, if you're going out to multifamily storage, mobile home park, RV park, don't come in and tell them you're a buyer. Why? You don't want to come and tell somebody that you're about to go talk to, like straight up, like to a seller or a broker, like I'm a buyer. The first thing they're gonna ask you is LOI and POF.
Mm.
What's after that? You're gonna drop them a fake LOI and get a fake POF, and what's next? Just to get a deal and just to blast it on Facebook? That's not how it works. Come in and get control. Hey, I am an acquisition agent for a private firm. We are interested in your deal. We would like to take a look at it, right? Hey, you're an acquisition agent. When you're talking in commercial, the boss is not going to be calling a broker. The
Right.
financial partner is not going to be calling a broker. It's like the front of the house. I think of it like a car sale dealership. There's a salesman, there's a floor manager, there's a closer, then there's a financial guy who comes in as a big boss, right? There's levels to things, right? When you come in. Also, like, hey, you know, I'm an acquisition, or hey, I'm a part of the syndication group, right? We look at deals every Tuesdays and Thursdays. We would love to take a look at your deals. Any information that you can send us to look at your deal. You're being super vague. Hey, they're gonna send you an NDI. They're gonna send you a NDA, and cool. You get you probably, bought yourself, more time to continue the conversation. The second thing is that after you say that, support, right? Support comes in like, who are you? What's your website? What deals have you done? This is where like the community that we're building can lean back on Ace Deals. Right? Be like, hey, tell them like you're an acquisition agent of Ace Deals. If you go to our website is really savvy. If you're a broker, you think you're a fund, like we're a fund.
Mm.
If you're a buyer, you know that we're consultants, wholesalers. If you're a seller, you think we're a fund. If you're a wholesaler, you think we're a fund, right? Why did we do that? Because we want deal flow. We want to see every deal that's happening in the market and that is on the market because that right there will help us get a pulse of the market. See what type of deals are floating, where he's coming from, what broker is looking at, what broker is doing what. So look, going back to support, it's like, hey, use us. And they're just like, hey, I want to speak to Ace. I'm going to speak to Trent. I'm going to speak to David. I'm going to speak to D. I'm going to speak to Noel. I'm going to speak to Lewis. You can get us on the phone anytime, any day. We can negotiate, right? That's the support.
Mm.
Once you get control, once you get the support, guess what? You get the documentations. That's where the magic happens. If you don't get documentation, you just wasted a call. It was not productive. Because once you get the P&Ls, once you get the financials, once you get the tax return, once you get the books, guess what? You could take it back to the back office, which is Ace Deals, right? Come in and we underwrite your deal, right? For us, we like to work in a very transformational direction way, if that makes sense. Like you give us something, just don't send us the financials. We always tell them like, hey, try to underwrite it, right? Here's our underwriting module. Try to underwrite the deal. Try to plug in what's happening. Because if you try, you send it back, we know that, hey, this is what you did not do. So we give you good, feedback so you can transform in your journey, right? From there, once you get the documents, that's where you learn a lot because now this is where we go, we break down the P&Ls, we break down like, hey, this is how you should buy this deal. This is how the deal does not make sense. This is the only 1-2 option. This is our offer. This is our LOI. Submit the LOI. Now you just submitting the LOI. In 120 days, if you could master those 4 steps, control, support, documentation, submitting offers, guess what? You just did more than a lot of people that are doing it in commercial. Guess why? Because once you start submitting offers every day, right? You're not just saying it verbally, like how you say it in single family. You're leaving them with something. You're leaving them with
Mm,
the alcohol. Guess what? As time goes on, they might not like your offer, but they will give you a call back. And
right.
that's when I started our conversation in 2023, we underwrote 275 deals, but we submitted 175 LOIs, and then we got 85 callbacks. We took 56 in the contract, and we closed 11. It's a numbers thing, right? So that's my 2 cents if anybody is trying to get into commercial, and that's pretty much it.
I love that, man. No, that's a lot of great tactical information, and really that's what this whole show's about, man. So I really appreciate you giving away such solid game and great information and tactical advice. But no, I love that. I feel like that's a big disconnector from my sales style from other people too, even on the residential side. Um, I hear there's a lot of people I have a lot of respect for and I like, but they're like, oh, just I'm the guy. There's no other people, other departments, and like I don't want to be the guy. That's an ego thing. One, it's like being like, oh, but like you're just kind of making the whole conversation adversarial right away. Like, oh, you're the buyer, you're the guy. And, it's like, I don't know. I'd rather be like, hey, I'm just looking at the deal. I got to go. I'm on your side. I want to see if we can get a deal done. And I got to talk to the manager, the big boss, and like, whatever, dude.
That's the best position to be in.
Hmm.
Because in the end of the day, like you want to make sure that the door stays open for us to come in and just try to kill the deal or make the deal, right? But you still want to keep that relationship going because they're gonna always remember that first impression,
Mm,
right? Mom always told me two things, right? Shout out to my mom. First impression is your last impression, and honesty is the best policy. If you have those two right in your corner and you really stand by them, well, you're gonna be really successful in business. It might not show right there and then, because commercial is a really gruesome space.
mm,
Like like trust me, there's buyers out there that love us, that smile on our face, that go right behind our back.
mm.
There's buyers out there that love us, that want to do deals with us only and pay for our value, right? Commercial is really head on. So you gotta be like, once you secure a contract and a buyer that's worth like 50, 20, 30, 100 million, you're gonna see like as like somebody lower than him, maybe like even a peasant. You're like, bro, why does he have a contract? I should have. I'm gonna go back to the seller. That's where your legal team, right?
Mm.
That's where you need to make sure those NDAs, right? Those confidentiality agreements. Make sure that once you send out any information, there's nothing that could be leaked. And if there is, there's a clause in our contracts. If you call the seller, you're gonna get a letter from our attorney and our lawyer for $1.5 million in liquidated damages to us. And since then, nothing happened. Like
Yeah.
at first, like when that clause wasn't there, like it was like everybody was trying to go around us. Like they were just trying to, see us as little men. Like, hey, why do you have this contract? You don't know what you're doing, right? So it's like this space is like really, really, really competitive. But
Mm.
if you put your stakes down and you take your chest out and you're like, hey, this is me, this is what I do, nobody's gonna try to test you. And if they do, like, hey, you have your team. Your
Right.
team works with you.
So once you added that clause for the 1.5, has anybody tried to go around your back?
Never,
Yeah.
never. Bro, in 2023, you don't know how many people went behind my back.
Mm.
Like, believe it or not, I have a list of at least 70 buyers that be
Wow.
blacklisted, bro. Like, and literally, like,
That's a lot.
you know some of them. I don't want to name drop. I don't want to be like Cat Williams on this
Yeah.
podcast, but just start name dropping. But bro, it's like I'm just like it's like a get eaten or run away type of world. Like it's like once like that's where you like gotta like learn how to mature fast in commercial, right? In commercial, it's like a lot of old heads. They don't like new people coming in and calling their friendships and calling their sellers that they've been friends since 30, 40 years, and now they don't want to do business with that broker, but they want to do business with somebody that's coming in,
Mm.
right? It's like the innovation, that adaptability, that creativeness to move in this market. That's all we have, right? We cannot time the market. We cannot go against the market. We just gotta play with the market. If the market dips, we dip. If the market doesn't, we go up. Because guess what? We're not against the market. We're with the market. Right? That's the best place to be in.
Yeah, that's great, man. Now, that's a great point too. I mean, it's tough because like there's like nobody wants to be the guy like calling people out because it's never a good look. But it's like it sucks because like somebody else gets burned and you like feel bad because it's. But yeah, it's definitely a tough spot, and yeah, it's shitty that there's like people that do that shit.
Yeah, man. You call it. I just call them war scars.
Mm.
take it on the chin, and just keep going. Because in the end of the day, like we don't know why they did it. We don't want to know why they did it. I have a really hot temper, all right?
Mm,
For me, like I really just really like to stay away from the situation because if I get into that situation, like it's not gonna be nice for nobody. It's not gonna be nice for the image, the company, the community. You gotta be like, hey, bygones be bygones. He did what he did. We're better than that. Let's keep it moving. Right.
yeah,
So that's pretty much it. But yeah,
yeah,
man, I'm really, really excited. If you want to come into commercial, man, I would love to like invite you to our impact community and see what we are about, man. It was just an idea.
yeah.
Like I was like, hey, like, why not teach other people, right? And we don't teach them, the whole business.
Hmm.
You're not gonna get it. You're gonna be so confused. It's like a process. We teach you one, two, three. But we break down 4 steps. But if you got to master step one, it's acquisitions.
Mm.
Right? Lead flow is the best. It's the only way to scale your business because if your business doesn't have leads, you can't scale your business, to be honest. Right. So if you really want to learn how to scale your business, like, I would invite you to, come to our community, check this out,
Yeah,
see
no,
like
I'd love to check what you guys have going on. So yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about you. So yeah, man, I'd love to see what you guys have going on, and yeah, that's add value any way I can.
most definitely. Yeah, they would love you. They would love you. Like, cause like my community is like, bro, it's like fund managers, people that like are IT, doctors, people that, just graduated college and they're like just hedge fund babies and they're like, hey, like we want to like learn something and just create something for our own. We have like regular people that are like leaving single family into, coming to commercial. There's like all walks of life. And like for me, it's like it was really amazing because I'm like, I'm just glad that like I'm just a few chapters ahead. But there's so many people that are just a few chapters ahead of being a fund manager, hedge fund baby, or like, a mom or dad or flip or a successful wholesaler. Like it just so many people and like they all have like different tact and like the way they like talk and the way they move. And like if I give them an idea, they make it their own idea by doing this and doing that. It's just super cool. Like I'm like, it's just new ideas that just come, come. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. How like it's just transforming and like just seeing the power of community. I think it happened by mistake, to be honest,
Mm.
because I never thought about having a community, it just happened, to be honest.
Yeah, it's cool when it works like that. I think the best things always grow organically. Yeah, that's kind of what's happened with us with Investor Plug, our CRM, and with our community, the syndicate. But yeah, just all happened organically, and I feel like those are like the best things, and those are like things that I'm real passionate about, and they're fun, and just doing because it's like how they've grown organically, and this wasn't forced.
Nice, nice. What was the idea about Investor Plug and like your community, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so Investable, yeah, I built it for myself. So yeah, I've been working on it like 3 years because yeah, I tried a bunch of CRMs. I've been an entrepreneur for almost a decade, and so I've tried pretty much like every CRM out there. And there's always some things I liked, and so I ended up building my own tech stack and paying for like 12 different subscriptions. And I'm like, this sucks. And then eventually I found out about High Level, and then I tried High Level when it first came out, and I'm like, oh, it's okay. And then but they add so much stuff to it, so I'm a huge fan of High Level. I went back on it 3 years ago. I'm like, oh, this is great. This like replaces a lot of the stuff I'm using.
Wow.
So, and if people aren't familiar with High Level, it's kind of like WordPress. Like you can kind of just build your own CRM on there and kind of like WordPress to do websites, but you still just have to know how to use it. But yeah, so I built, and before I had a marketing company for car dealers after I got out of car sales. So I was building systems and doing marketing for them. So yeah, was doing it for myself. And then, some other people that I was helping out get started, like, oh, like, what are you using? I'm like, oh, I'm using this. If you want to check it out. And like, they loved it. They're getting great results. And it just kind of kept going from there. And then same thing with the syndicate. Yeah, I was just helping people out for free and then kind of just put like a small paywall on there. It's only $197 a month, but it's like just kind of, because I found out a lot of people were kind of like just tire kickers and wanted all the information, but would never take action. And like, I was spending all this time like helping people, and like, there's no commitment on their end. So like most, like 99% of the people weren't doing anything with the info. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to give out all the info for free on this podcast and on YouTube. And the people that are action takers are going to go ahead and do it. But people that want a little more accountability and want community, we'll put something together with the syndicate.
Wow, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, I see you are really crushing it, like you guys are amazing. Like the way that you guys, carry yourself, the way you guys like host events and like empower yourself by empowering other people. It's just really great to watch. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just like whenever I log on, I'm like Ky and just like Travis and just like Brent Franklin. There's like so many people just doing cool things. I'm like, that's the power of like just supporting, other people in your like niche.
Yeah.
And that's super cool. Like what you have built and where you're building and where is this going. So like, I'm just really proud to be a part of it, to be honest.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're definitely have to have you come down to one of the syndicate events soon and speak to you.
Hey, I was thinking because bro, I've always been BSing myself. I'm like, okay, Kai invited me the first time. I didn't go. There's another one that I missed. It was just badass. There's a one that's coming up. I told myself I am gonna go. So I am like on my like I just want to sit in the audience. I want to come and I want to support, right? And I'm gonna come. Like that's a commitment I made to myself because I lied to myself twice. I don't want to lie to you again, so I want to come. Just
I love it, man. I think it's June 5th. I'll tell you the date for sure. We got the date locked up. We're just working on a couple of things, and this weekend we should be work finishing everything up. And by the time people listen to this, it'll be after this weekend. But yeah, we'll have the tickets up and everything. But yeah, June 5th is gonna be the next one. It should be cool.
nice, nice. Is there anything you would like to know about commercial?
Yeah, I know a bunch, but yeah, he'll be here all day. But yeah, no, really just I guess last other quick question I had too, I figured would be useful for the audience. Is there like any like we use PropStream, like a lot of other things that people use in residential. Are there any softwares or anything or tools that you guys use on the commercial side?
Oh yeah, we use a lot. So if you want to pull data, Reonomy, Atom data, and if you want to run comps, right, and you want to pull data, you can use Crexy, right? Crexy is like, $400 a month, right? For me, like I'm really old school. I never left Podio. I looked at your Go High Level. I was like, this is so amazing, but Podio is like already like flesh and blood for me, right? Because
Hmm.
that's what I grew up in, and I'm like, I just can't transition right now. Like, I'm in a really vulnerable state in my business where like things are picking up, and I just can't make that shift from my CRM because I gotta have a house. So like Podio, collect all my data, and that's pretty much it. And that's all you need. Add-on data, Crexy, start calling, Podio to store your data, and you're good to go. That's pretty much it.
I love that, man. It's super helpful. Yeah, I know which tools to use. And yeah, the best CRM is always the one you use, you're comfortable with. If you're using it, you're comfortable with it, it's great. That's one of the reasons we switched Investor Plug up a lot because before it was REI bot and we kind of did the same thing. We're competing as like the lowest ticket option and just, here it is. You get what you get, figure it out. But yeah, we switched up a lot now. So it's like custom built for people like on their businesses and their processes. So like built more around like how you work already to like help you as opposed to like you got to learn a whole new language and figure out this whole new system. And that's always my least favorite thing was like, oh, I want this for the new system. And then like I gotta spend like a week or two just trying to like learn it and then I'm not doing anything else.
Wow. Yeah. I just can't. 2 or 3 weeks is like too much. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's like right now, like man, like I had to like push 7 meetings down just to make that time slot, just to come talk to you, Kai. And
Mhm.
like it's like it's like every time like when you like once you start getting into commercial, it's like you're meeting with like high level sellers. Like they don't want to be on the phone, like they really want to be like face to face.
Mm.
See who they're talking to. Like they want to come and like take them out, eat and stuff like that. So like in commercial, you might have to like, put in more sweat equity to get through
Mhm.
into and like in single family. So like commercial is scalable, but like if you're looking to do like, you know, 30, 40 deals, you're gonna need a community.
Yeah.
Like that's something I'm figuring out. Like for us, like last year, bro, I did 11 deals. I had no life. I roll out of bed, open my laptop, go to sleep, roll out of bed, open my laptop, go to sleep. I'm like, what's happening? Right. So it was like, now it's like I have more structure.
Mm.
Like if you want to come in and like one deal every quarter, you're good. Right. Because if you want to start, right, whatever you do in Q2, you're really just writing a check for Q3.
Right.
It's 3 to 4 months to close a commercial deal.
Hmm.
That's pretty much it. And just to give anybody that's listening a hint of advice, you know how they say in single family, go find a buyer, then go find a property? Uh, that's a hit or miss. But in commercial, really go find a buyer, then go find a property.
Mm.
Because it's all about the way you structure contract. We spent 20K to draft up our contract. We have a universal contract that we drafted, and we have like different types of wording in there. Um, and some of that wording I would love to share is like, hey, just to buy us some time, right? Because we don't want to lose earnest money. We're not in the game to lose earnest money, right? So it's like, our earnest money could be like $30,000, $40,000. Sometimes we have to like, use third parties to put the earnest money, right? So it's like a word of, a contract wording that I would love to, give, to your listeners and to you, Ky, is like the due diligence does not start until we get all the due diligence documents.
Mm.
Right. So what? Now we're under contract, right? But it's up to the seller, and we give them a checklist of all the due diligence items that we need. But guess what? We just buy ourselves 7 to 14 days to either make an OM and start doing a coming soon ad. Right?
That's
now
smart.
Right? So now we have buyers already lined up. When we get it, we underwrite it, we send it to them. Okay, here's a full phase 3 underwriting. What do you want to do? Get on call. Now we're in the due diligence period, but if you're locking the buyer and date in like week 2, week 3, which is like 21 days, but 14 days doesn't count. When 7 days went by, he can come in, drop earnest money, and he can still have the full due diligence period without any extensions and close on it. Right? If
I
he
love
does
that. Yeah, that's smart.
So, yeah. So,
Yeah, that's huge. No, it makes a lot of sense for sure. That's super helpful. Yeah, thanks again for sharing that, man. That's great.
of course.
But yeah, man, no, this is great, man. I got a bunch of great takeaways. I'm sure the audience did as well. What's the best way for people to, connect with you more, like follow you on social media?
Oh man, I'm not a big social media guy, but if you have Facebook, it's Ace Deals. Hit me a message, and that's pretty much it. I'm on Instagram, it's called acedeals.rei. Twitter, it's Ace Deals REI. But that's pretty much it. If you want to see who I am and what I do, I'm really building my community on Facebook. I want to stay on Facebook because there's so many great people like Ky, Travis, and Brent, and many more people that I would just list, and just want to be around them. And that energy that you guys bring every day on my timeline just like really like motivates me. You know what I mean? Like me being in my office every day. I don't know if you guys really, feel that, energy like what you guys put out if it's coming back to you guys. But like when we see other people do things and really are consistent with it, consistently taking action, it makes you hold yourself. It makes us hold yourself accountable because we're like, hey, if Ky is gonna be here this year, I want to keep doing it myself and meet Ky at this level. Meet Travis at that level. You just motivate. You're just motivating other people with your actions, and like that's where I want to be, and that's where I focus my energy and just be around all these great people that I'm around and that I met. To be honest,
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot for sure. And yeah, it's huge. Following the right people on social media. Just one of the best things I did for myself was like unfollowing a bunch of family members and like negative fucking people, and just unfriending and unfollowing them. So like when I go on social media, I just see positive shit. I don't see people bitching and complaining, which is cool.
I love it, man. I never had a Facebook growing up, so I just made like when I started this business. So it was like a fresh start. So I had nothing but real estate fans. So super amazing.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. Awesome, man. Well, I love it, man. Any final thoughts you have or anything else you want to share?
Yeah. Just want to leave you guys with one word of advice. Work like it's up to you and pray like it's up to God.
I love that, man.
So,
well, man, thanks again for coming on, man. We'll definitely have to do this again soon.
Most definitely, Ky. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys for everybody that's listening.
Hey, this is Ky Logue. Thank you for listening to the podcast. I truly appreciate you. If you want more of this information and you want to see these actually recorded live, go ahead, join our Facebook group. It's the Real Estate Wholesaling Syndicate. It's right on Facebook. Google it, you'll find it. Type it on Facebook, you'll find it. I look forward to seeing you guys in there. We give a ton of free information in there, a bunch of free trainings, free courses. You get all the scripts, contracts, everything you need, A to Z, absolutely free. And I look forward to seeing you on the group.